Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup Series. This is round number 29 of the season, and it's a very special one. We're going back in time for this race. It's throwback weekend for the 1-Up Retro Cup Series at beautiful Darlington Raceway. It's what everyone's been looking forward to for the last few months, and it's finally here upon us. And with Duke Anzac alongside me as always, this is going to be an exciting race to see, with a lot of special-looking cars looking like cars from the past, and I gotta say, there's a lot of big names in new colors this weekend. So what are you gonna expect as these cars blast off into turn one for the first time?
Well, I expect for the first half of this race, at least, it's going to be a little bit tough to see who is who because it's a bunch of new colors today, but that's good. It's absolutely a good thing. I'm excited to see what kind of lines these guys run around Darlington. You know, it's called the track too tough to tame, so it's really, really one of the most difficult tracks on the circuit, and you got the high side and the low side, and there's not much room in between at all. So if there's any time that you're going three wide or something, that's no bueno. So it's gonna be exciting to see how these guys navigate a tough track today.
One thing to keep an eye on, as it's been the case for the last few weeks, is the playoff battle at Bristol Motor Speedway last time out. A big crash that took out many of the playoff contenders has left the playoff cut line looking very slim indeed, with Justin Hutchinson just barely holding a 9-point edge over Stephen Gale for the final transfer spot. The good news for Hutchinson, though, is that he qualifies on pole position for the 7,500, and as the qualifying lineup scrolls past on the screen right now, you can see Hutchinson and the 3 car painted to look like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s old Daytona 500 winning scheme, and Hutchinson's throwing back to Davey Allison and his Daytona 500 winning scheme as well. We've got 2 500 winners on the front row, and as you look through the rest of the starting grid, you can see Stephen Gale starting all the way back in 34th position. So that playoff bubble is going to be very big as soon as the race starts, with the 2 contenders starting so far apart. And the pace car making the hard left turn on the pit road leaves us in the hands of the 28 and the 3, both painted after 500 champions, coming off of turn 4 to get the 7,500 underway. And we're getting ready to get this race started with Hutchinson on the inside, the 3 on the outside, Martin and Presto in row 2, Bender and Fitzwater in row 3. Here we go, off of 4. The flag is in the air and the 7,500 is underway.
What a beautiful sight, all these great-looking throwback paint schemes charging down into turn 1. Look at that, the 28 got a good enough lead. He's going to go single file in the first corner. That's always good, but everybody behind is in a rough situation because they're too wide on such a narrow track.
Yeah, looking at Jordan Presto, it looks like the inside line is going to be the way to go around this track. As you can see, Miles Mashburn and King in the 18 have already made their way past. They look different than normal. They're normally black and yellow, but in this case, red and blue for the 72 and the 18. But right now, it's Hutchinson that leads lap 1 ahead of the 3 and the 26 of J.D. Martin.
Yeah, so you got to remember that this track has 2 different radiuses of corners. So the turn 1 and 2 right here, they're a lot longer, wider than turns 3 and 4 that they're charging down into now. So it's 2 different corners. You got to race them differently. So we're going to see how that impacts passing today and which line they run. As you can see, they're running the middle right now. And that's just the safest place to be. You don't want to be so close to the apron that you spin, and you don't want to be so close to the wall that you hit it.
And keep in mind, this track is very abrasive. Tires will be begging to be taken off after just a handful of laps. We expect a 30 to 35 lap pit window, so we should be getting a one-stop strategy in this race, although some people may try and go for 2 if they think the tires are just worth that much. As you see, Casey Bender looking like Joey Logano's rookie year in 2009, as Martin makes a move on the inside of the 3. This is for second place.
Yeah, that was a smart move right there. He made the move early enough to let the 3 know, but now the 3 is going to get eaten up by these guys on the bottom. Just not enough momentum on the outside right now for anything to happen. He's still stuck on the outside. Those guys are just going to fly by.
It's almost like Martinsville, where the outside line is not the best place to be, as the 75 tries to make its way around the 3, painted to look like David Reagan's final career Cup Series win at Talladega. It's a very beautiful paint scheme, and he flashes past the 3 as Alexa Lutchen makes her way by the 3, and so does Christian Vargas in the 08. the first 3 car is going to lose a lot of spots here going into turn 3.
Yeah, and this is not good. Nobody's letting him in. You know, it's and you can't. You know, you want to have every position that you can get this early in the race. We're looking at the 92 car. Ulster was sliding back on the outside. Looks like there's going to be a hole for the both of them here.
Yes,
That's
Jeffrey
it, yeah.
Finguy slides in. Remember, he's 14 points out of the playoffs right now, in 14th in the points. And he started 13th in this race, so he really needs a good run on Hutchinson and Gale to vault himself into a playoff spot with only 2 races to go, 1 after today. As Miles Mashburn makes a move under J.D. Martin, that's for 2nd place. And it looks like Mashburn will take 2nd in the Benny Parsons-inspired Zaxby's Chevrolet.
Ooh, and here comes that. Wow, it's going to be close into this corner. 22 is going to sneak under there. And that's going to send the 26 all the way to the back, just like he did to the 3 earlier. So
yes, Casey Bender is passed, and now King in the 18 is going to try and make a move. Now Zachary Fitzwater is going to try and take a peek under the 75. That won't work, but it appears the 26 of Martin appears to be holding his own on the high line ahead of King.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that run.
Martin is clear in 4th position, but Fitzwater and Caggiano in the 30 back there is also looking to make a move on Jake McMillan in the Nico Rosberg-inspired number 6.
Yeah, so that was really interesting to see because now we're seeing the 75 fall back on the outside. I can't believe the 26 car was able to get such a good run off of the corner on the outside. Maybe that's something that we can look forward to later in the run if the outside lane becomes a little bit quicker than the bottom. Here comes the 75 off of that corner.
Clear of Jordan Presto and that beautiful Darrell Waltrip number 66. It's a beautiful car from 2000. And it's really special to see it on track here at Darlington. Looking back at Jake McMillan and like we said, the Nico Rosberg-inspired championship-winning number 6 Ford as he gets passed by Lane Sanders in the 81. Also a Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback for Sanders in the 81. His 2013 era Mountain Dew Monte Carlo. As now we go back up through the field, and it looks like Mashburn and Bender are closing in on Hutchinson. This is a battle for the lead brewing at lap 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Miles Mashburn has really been turning it up in the last couple of weeks. I mean, this car is always running up front nowadays, and it's really great to see. But the 22 is not making it easy, really filling up the mirrors right now. But yeah, these guys are catching the leaders. It's going to be a battle here soon.
Can Justin Hutchinson hold the lead? He wants his 3rd win of the season to come at Darlington. He wants to move into a tie with Stephen Hunter for 1, most career wins in the series, and 2, when the playoffs reset, it'll be a battle. They'll be tied at the top of the leaderboard in the playoff standings as we look at the back half of the field. Braden Saul back there, Kyle Corbett, both were beautiful-looking throwbacks. Saul going back to Harry Gant's Skull Bandit, back from the 80s, and Kyle Corbett going back to Juan Pablo Montoya's final season in NASCAR. And Ethan Zandstra's got a very familiar look on his number 15. Familiar fans of NASCAR will remember the blue and yellow Thunderbird of Dale Earnhardt in his colors. And look at this. Stephen Hunter makes a move around Ben McDonald. As McDonald gets trapped on the high side, that Cole Trickle Days of Thunder machine made a power move around McDonald, and now Hunter moves up in the 32nd.
Yeah, that move was really good. It was, it's another one of those clean passes, and the Ben McDonald really just had nowhere to go. He couldn't defend that move. It was the draft that brought him down to the bottom lane, and then just gets stuck on the outside, and he lost about 6 positions right there just from that one move. So outside lane is still pretty treacherous.
Going through the field, Kevin Carter in the 71, going back to the Spiker F1 teams, a lone season of 2007. Arthur Xavier going back to the Mittler brothers in the NASCAR Truck Series in their maiden voyage in 1995. Cody Goforth actually going back to a test scheme of Jimmy Johnson's that ran in the late 2000s. Really unique paint job of Cody Goforth. Brandon Beals up there. Daniel Bouchard's got a very unique throwback on his car. Not NASCAR related, but it's still a very valuable throwback to a very nice race car as you get past Santiago Alvarez. As Peter Onjak, Richard Herman is up here. Nick Ortiz may be driving the oldest throwback in the field, going back to Tim Flock's 1951 Hudson Hornet. That is a beautiful looking car, and he's holding his own in 20.
Yeah, old Tim Flock. This is some good stories to be told about him in those days in NASCAR. But right now, it's this is a perfect track for a throwback weekend. It's the oldest track on the circuit, and you got all this history engraved in this track as you see the 81 just get freight trained on the bottom there. But yeah, this place has so many memories, and between the walls of this track, there's always stories to be told. So really love seeing these cars, and I love seeing the diversity in motorsports across all these cars. It's not just NASCAR throwbacks, it's Formula One, and it's all types. So that's a lot of fun, really cool.
Christian Vargas going back to Jeff Gordon's final Xfinity Series victory back in 1999. His beautiful Pepsi Chevrolet being put on the Sirius XM Toyota this week as the cars fly by turns 3 and 4. It's a great train of cars picking up Christian Vargas and Casey Bender directly ahead of him. He was running in third, but he's dropped back to 8th now, as Ryan Caggiano drove the Petty Blue number 30 this week. It's a beautiful car with beautiful colors. As we look forward to Alexa Lutchen, King in the 18 running the Mark Martin Viagra colors. But right now, the focus is the battle for the lead between the Davey Allison throwback of Justin Hutchinson and the Benny Parsons machine of Miles Mashburn. This is truly a battle for the ages.
Yeah, this is incredible, and that 72 really drove him down, and he's right on his bumper right now. And the positive thing for the 28 car, if he were to get past right here, in the same way that a lot of people have been getting past today with that dive on the bottom, there's not anywhere for him to fall back to. I mean, there's a big gap between the 26 car and the rest of the field, so he'll be able to slide in right there, if not ahead of the 26 car. So he's going to be able to, if he gets past here, just keep on fighting for the lead.
Right now, Mashburn appears to have a faster car than Justin Hutchinson, but this track is just so narrow, it's almost impossible to plan a pass right unless the car in front of you makes a mistake. But right now, Justin Hutchinson's driving mistake-free down this field. He really needs to have a good run if he wants to make the playoffs. He's got 2 wins early in the season, but he hasn't won in a long time. And when Bobo Jones broke his winless streak at Bristol last time out, Justin Hutchinson looked at that and said, I want my winless streak to be broken next.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you say that the 72 is faster than the 28 right now. I agree, but I think that the 26 car is faster than the both of them because he is right on him, and it's only a matter of time before he makes his move to try to get to the front.
J.D. Martin driving a Kevin Harvick Hershey's throwback on his car. It's a beautiful brown and silver machine with the yellow number on the roof. It's easily identifiable, and he's battling Miles Mashburn for second as Hutchinson starts to pull away from them just a little bit. The gap is now about half a second between he and the battle for second.
Yeah, I think what has happened is the 72 has gone into more of a defensive mode here. Instead of trying to attack the 28 car, he's trying to block and make sure the 26 can't get under him. So that's what's going on. Except they're catching up again now. It's just the ebbs and flows of this track.
And with pit stops coming up in about 10 to 15 laps, the times have fallen off by almost 2.5 seconds already, based from the start of this race to now. And it appears that Justin Hutchinson still has control of this race. He's got a about decent-sized lead over Miles Mashburn and J.D. Martin, and King in the 18 and Alexa Lutchen in the 50.
Oh, here comes the move.
Here comes Martin on Mashburn. This is the battle for second, and Martin will be able to take the position easily from Miles Mashburn, and Martin is now tasked with chasing down Justin Hutchinson.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do now with the 28 car. They've fallen a little bit behind because of their battling, but I don't think that's going to play anything into it. I do want to mention, though, with the pit stops looming, you got 2-second advantage on fresher tires. So really, anybody in the top 5, if they were to pit 1 lap before the leader, they could take the lead through the pit stop cycle. So, you got to watch out for the short pit where you take tires and you run a lap on fresher tires. Then those guys gain a lot of time that way. So we'll keep an eye out for that and see what happens.
The undercut strategy will prove to be a very effective one as the laps continue to wind down. We've got 50 laps to go here at Darlington, with Justin Hutchinson leading every lap so far, but J.D. Martin's closing in. I don't think Hutchinson will be able to keep that lead for very long because J.D. Martin is on a tear going through the turns 3 and 4 right now, going past the grandstands filled with fans that are loving these old-fashioned cars, duking it out. here at Darlington, and J.D. Martin's closing in on Justin Hutchinson. This could be a big battle for the lead here. The gap's less than 0.2 of a second. It's a car length between these two.
Yeah, and he's really right on him now. I think that this move is going to happen down the backstretch right here for sure. The 26 went by the 72 and chased down the 28. Meanwhile, the 72 has fallen off. I'm not sure if his tires have just gotten so bad to the point where he's hanging on at this, just trying to hold on and not spin it out. But the 26 really has come in. He's got a long run car, so look out for him. No matter what happens after this pit stop, look out for him at the end of the race.
J.D. Martin now still right on the back of Justin Hutchinson, less than a car length between them as they come off of turn 2. The battle for position right now is very intense. And will Martin make a move into turn 3? I would not recommend.
Oh my goodness.
It's very close, but Martin cannot make the move because through turns 3 and 4, it's a bit narrower than in 1 and 2. So if you're going to make a move, I'd recommend you make it going into 1 and 2, as Martin may do coming into lap 27. I don't think it's going to be enough. But looking back here, it looks like Zachary Fitzwater's got to jump on the 3, and it looks like Casey Bender's going to follow him through, and the 75 is going to get past as well. This proves how good the inside line is, because the 3 and the 08 of Vargas have fallen far behind.
Yeah, that inside line right now is dominant, especially when you're too wide. It's just that the outside lane has no grip. It's real dirty up there, and of course, with the tires being so old, you do not want to be in the dirty stuff. So, it's going to be interesting to see if that top lane ever comes in. Not sure if it will, but for now, it definitely has not.
And with J.D. Martin continuing the assault on Justin Hutchinson, I have noticed that it's the entrance to the corner where the inside line is very prevalent. But on the exit, you kind of drift upwards a little bit towards the wall, as you see Hutchinson and Martin do. So the outside line could be an advantage coming out of the corners, but really going into the corners when you're trying to make a pass, it's the inside line all the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, in order to make the outside lane work, you'd have to be able to hang on through that first part of the corner. And so far, nobody's been able to. We saw a couple people really launch off of the corner while they were side by side, but from the outside lane, I have to add. But, it's just not a viable line for passing quite yet. And it's always where you end up when you're getting passed. So not somewhere you want to be.
Justin Hutchinson has led all 29 laps so far as we head into lap 30. J.D. Martin's really close to his back bumper. It's only a 1/10 of a second separating these two. They've been nose to tail for about the last 5, 6, 7 laps, but nothing's been able to happen with these guys quite yet, as Hutchinson actually extends his lead a little bit coming off of turn 2, but Martin's just got that good of a car. He can reel him right back in going into turn 3. It's a bit narrower here, like I said before, but with pit stops closing in, Martin wants to make this pass before he heads on the pit road.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that he wasn't able to ever make a move. It's like when he got right up to him, he kind of stalled out. And now if you notice, the 72 has been gaining a little bit of time on these guys, and he is closing the gap. So it's about to be a 3-car battle right here before the pit stops. We'll see how it goes.
Keep in mind, though, that if the 26 makes this pass on the 28, that opens the door for Justin Hutchinson to attempt an undercut on J.D. Martin in the pit strategy. That'll allow him to take the lead back on pit stops if the undercut works as well as we are pretty sure it will.
Oh, here it is.
As Martin makes a move to the inside, but Hutchinson shuts the door on him. Not quite enough to take the lead there, but it shows that Martin's ready to make a pass on lap 32, and Justin Hutchinson's got to be screaming for new tires on his Texaco.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes the move.
Here it is. Now we've got him battle for the lead. We go from our chopper cam to see J.D. Martin on the inside of Justin Hutchinson, but as we've seen off of 4 on the high side, the high side gets a little bit of a run off of 4, and it looks like coming to the line, Hutchinson will lead that lap, but right now, going into the corner, J.D. Martin's just got that good of a car. He breezes.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the 72.
And Alexa Lutchen for good measure, but Hutchinson will slide in behind Miles Mashburn. He will settle into 3rd place as J.D. Martin takes the lead for the first time all night long, and he leads the 7,500.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the 28 car really held in good on the outside for about a half a lap right there, but as soon as they got to the next corner entry, it was all wrong for the 28 being on the outside. So now the 26 is out front in clean air, and he's going to be able to gauge where his car is, but he's got enough of a gap that if these guys right behind him decide to pit, he's not going to have a shot to come in right with him. So definitely the undercut is available for all of these guys behind him.
Closing in on halfway of this race, which would be lap 37. We'll have an official race then. But Miles Mashburn is definitely putting a charge on J.D. Martin. But Justin Hutchinson still hanging in there in the top 5, all within a second and a half of each other. So with that in mind, any of the top 5 can make a successful undercut work on the others. But looking back through the rest of the field, you can see Ace in the 24 holding station and last on the track, with Ben McDonald battling Braden Saul back here.
He's got some damage.
He does have some right side damage. The Darlington stripe is notorious for causing damage to these race cars, and McDonald and Saul have a little bit of it coming back here through the field as pit stops appear to have started because Justin Hutchinson has hit the pit road. He will be the first one to bite on the pit stops. We'll find him in a second as he's still making his way down pit road. We will find him. And going back through the rest of the field, we can see there he is, Justin Hutchinson on pit road along with the 3 and the 75. Blair and the 69's coming in. These guys are wanting to get into pit road early to try and get an undercut off on the cars in front. We'll see if the others react to this. But Justin Hutchinson with the superior strategy going for 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, and these two started on the front row, so they're going to have really good exits to the pit lane. So we'll see if this is going to be able to get the undercut for these guys and pass them. Obviously, they pitted a lap before the rest of the field, who is now on pit road. Wow, it just got busy. Hopefully, with these guys coming out, there are no problems.
Here comes J.D. Martin and Miles Mashburn on the pit road. Ricky Freeman Jr. looks like he's stuck in the pits for an extended period of time. I wonder if they have damage repair to do on that 56 car. But right now, it's J.D. Martin we're focused on, putting on tires and coming back onto the track. He's Justin Hutchinson. We'll see where he cycles out on the pit stops. But right now, it appears that there's Arthur Xavier making his pit stop. And you see there's the rest of the field exiting pit road. And here is Justin Hutchinson, although it appears that Alexa Lutchin, Jeffrey Finguy, and Ryan Caggiano have stayed out a little bit longer to try and get an overcut off. But I just don't think that strategy is going to work. As you see, Hutchinson does get around J.D. Martin. Yep. And the undercut has proved successful as Hutchinson now has a massive lead over J.D. Martin. And don't look now, but here comes the 3 right around the outside of the 26 of Martin. And they're going to be side by side going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, so the 3 car is on, he's on older tires at this point, but they're hot, so he's going to be able to get a huge run off the corner and keep the position in second place. He was running 3 seconds behind the 26 car before the pit stop, so that just shows how much that one lap gains you. And, I mean, obviously the 28 car is so far ahead.
Justin Hutchinson with now a 3-second lead over the 3 and the 26 of Martin right behind. We're still waiting on Lutchin, Finguy, and Caggiano to pit, but when those 3 pit, it will be Justin Hutchinson. Yes, there it is. Now Hutchinson has the lead of this race with the 3 in second place, J.D. Martin 3rd, Miles Mashburn 4th, and the 75 in the top 5. He had the undercut strategy as well, and he got out ahead of King in the 18 and Zachary Fitzwater in the 59. As we are past halfway in this race, we have an official race now, but Justin Hutchinson's got a very commanding lead. Will anyone be able to chase him down?
I'm not sure. These guys got held up by the damaged lap car, Ben McDonald, right there for a moment. It doesn't look like it'll be that bad, except Miles Mashburn is going to be stuck behind. Actually, he's going slower than the 12 car now, so we'll see here. We'll see if the 26 on the long run, we saw him on the long run in the last run be way faster than everybody else, so we're going to have to see if the 28 car is able to hold this lead, and maybe he's got to save his stuff right now and save it for the end so he has something for the 26, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. You know, the undercut really worked out for those guys.
We are hearing from pit road that one reason the 26 had such a fast stop is they're not quite certain they got all the lugs on that wheel. So if Martin comes in here, we will know why. It's because of a potential loose wheel on this 26 car. You want no mistakes when you only have one pit stop to make in these races, and J.D. Martin might have just made a fatal mistake with a loose wheel this late into the race. Going to be a tough break if he has to come in.
Yeah, That's so hard because the pit crew, they try so hard, but sometimes the gun has a problem. Sometimes you got it in the wrong orientation. So there's a number of things that could happen to lead to something like that, and it's always just really, really a horrible situation for all parties involved.
We were looking back at Daniel Bouchard. He started 35th in this race, and he's already up into 8th place. Good run from the 73. But here comes J.D. Martin making a move on the 3. This is for 2nd place. Remember, Martin has 1 lap fresher tires than the 3, so keep in mind this is going to be an interesting battle if Martin can get past and if he can mount a charge on Hutchinson.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. Going into 3, it'll be the 26 of Martin making a move on the inside. But remember, we've seen never mind. I was going to say turns 3 and 4 have been such an advantage coming off of the high side. But J.D. Martin just made easy pickings of that 3 car. So Martin moves up in the 2nd place, and now he's got 30 laps to try and break down a 3-second lead.
Yeah, I think Martin's out there driving loose wheel. I don't care. He's putting it all on the track right now. So if he isn't able to catch the 28, then he won't be able to say that he didn't try, because that thing is fast and he is on a charge. And
let's see what the margin of the stripe is coming to the end of lap 44. The 26 car actually dropped a 1/10 of a second off that lead, so he is gaining time on Justin Hutchinson, but will it be enough? I'd say if he keeps chipping away at 1/10 per lap, I'd say he will be able to catch him.
Yeah.
The question is, will it be enough to get by?
Yeah. We always say catching him is one thing, but passing him is another, and that's absolutely true, especially at this track right now, because you really only have the one passing lane. And we saw how long it took the 26 to pass the 28 the last time he caught him. It took probably more than 10 laps, I'd say. So, it's going to be really interesting to see if he gets there, what he can do with him.
And Martin has actually gained another 0.2 of a second that last lap, so he's definitely faster than the 28, but he needs to have fast, solid laps while the 28 struggles, potentially behind lap cars. As this race winds down, we'll see what the margin is at the line here, and he had lost those 0.2 right back, so the lead is back to where it was on the last lap, with Hutchinson holding a 2.9 second lead. Martin definitely does not need that to happen. He needs to keep gaining time on Hutchinson if he wants to take this lead for keeps.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've noticed those guys right behind him are pretty much right with him. So, the 26 car is kind of having to do double duty right now, where he is trying to chase down the 28 and trying to gain time while also trying to defend from those trying to pass him behind. So, he gained a couple tenths there. I think it was about 3 tenths that he just gained. So,
yes, it was 0.3 of a second on Justin Hutchinson. He gained that last time around, but J.D. Martin needs to gain a lot more than that, because we're closing in on the end of this race. We're past halfway in this race. We've got plenty of action left to go, but J.D. Martin's starting to run out of time to try and catch Justin Hutchinson.
And it looks like that little group of 3 cars right there with the 26, the 3, and the 72 have all gotten by Ben McDonald, the lap car now. So they're going to be able to all race each other at this point. It's not really what the 26 wanted to see, because he wanted those guys to be held up behind him so he could focus forward. But it doesn't seem to matter all that much. He's still gaining a little bit of time each lap. There's plenty of laps to go.
Looking back at this battle for 5th place, it's the 75 and the 18 of King. Remember, King led over half the race at Bristol, but came up just a bit short in his bid for victory. He finished 11th that day. He really wants a win here, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. He's 4 seconds off the lead right now. And looking back through the rest of the field, Braden Saul's a lot down. This is the battle for 8th position between Blair in the 69, the Rio winner, Daniel Bouchard in 9th, and Alexa Lutchen in 10th. They're all battling for 8th spot right now, with Casey Bender and Ryan Soper battling just outside the top 10. Both of these cars going back to Joe Gibbs Racing drivers. Casey Bender going back to Joey Logano's 2009 car, as we mentioned at the top of the show. And Ryan Soper going back to Denny Hamlin's Rookie of the Year entry in 2006. So 2 rookie entries, both having a solid day just outside. Actually, now Bender has moved into the top 10. In 10th position. As we're looking at the scoring pylon, one driver missing from the top 10 is J.D. Martin, and I have to worry that his tire finally had enough, and he had to come in for his pit stop. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
He just couldn't make it. He just couldn't make it on that loose wheel. He had to come in and get a fresh set of Goodyear tires, and Martin will lose any hope he had of winning this race. He'll fall all the way back to the last position on the grid, and Martin finally cycles his way back out in 42nd place. Heartbreak for the 26, but his bid of winning the Southern 500 is over.
Wow, what a shame he had such a fast car, but now we have to wonder because the 3 car also has picked up where the 26 left off, I'd say. Actually, he didn't because he just lost a half second. So, it's really looking good for the 28 car at this point. He's starting to pull away, obviously, and that's that. The 28 was probably saving a little bit of his tires, and he's able to kind of let loose here.
And we've got another car with trouble on the track. It's Jack Porkins in the 16. His race is over.
Oh, no.
With an ignition failure on the 16, and that signals the end of the road for Jack Porkins in both the Southern 500 and in his hopes of making the playoffs in 2020. Jack Porkins' playoff hopes are over here at Darlington. He cannot make up enough ground with this DNF to make his way into the playoffs. It'll be a 4-car battle, it looks like, for the playoff spot come Phoenix.
Man, so far the last couple of laps have only been heartbreak. Hopefully that improves soon. But this race has been entertaining so far. We've got, I have to admit, far less chaotic than the Bristol race, but that's that's fine. I just saw the 12 had gotten around the 3 car, so that wasn't for position, but that will probably hold up the 3 car a little bit. Unless, of course, the 12 is just faster. He's going to go run down the leader and get his lap back the hard way. Then maybe the 3 can
Justin
follow.
Hutchinson now being held up behind Santiago Alvarez, driving the iconic Men in Black number 98 GM Goodwrench Dale Earnhardt scheme on his Fusion, and Santiago Alvarez will fall a lap down to Justin Hutchinson in that 98 because Hutchinson's just on such a tear, and we're beyond 20 laps to go in this race, so it'll be interesting to see what happens from here on in. We've hit 20 to go. We're at 18 to go now. And can that 3 car close down a 3.5 second lead, or has Justin Hutchinson cemented his win in the 7,500?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You also have to think about the fact that they're going to have to go farther than they went in the first run in this run here because they didn't quite make it to halfway. I'm not sure. I don't think it was because they weren't able to go farther. I think it's just everybody had to pit because of the few guys that pitted 1 lap before that dragged the whole field down the next time by. But so far, it's not very promising for the 3. He has not gained any time, a single lap that he's had out there, and the 12 even is driving away from him with damage on lap down, so not looking too good.
We've got a 4-second lead now between the 28 and the 3. Actually, it's closed down a little bit. He gained 0.4 that lap, so it's now 3.3 seconds as the 75 and 69 battle for 6th position on track, with Miles Mashburn just ahead of them. And this battle for 8th between Bouchard and Lutchen, and this battle for 10th between Soper and Bender that Bender currently holds. We've got a lot of battles on this track, but none for the lead. So this is what we're focusing on now. The 2 JGR cars battle it out for 10th position.
Yeah, these cars look great. I especially love that 22 car. It's such a good-looking paint scheme. It really brings you back. And here comes maybe a move on Alexa Lutchen. It wasn't going to work out. It was a little bit late, so smart move there by backing out of it.
And now it's a 4-car battle for 8th instead of 2 separate 2-car battles for 8th and 10th. We've now got 4 cars under a blanket. Here comes Soper on the inside of Casey Bender, but I just don't think it's going to work out very well as we see Ryan Soper make a move on the inside, and Bender just has the run off of 4, and he will continue to take that spot. As right now Nick Ortiz has joined this battle. He started all the way back in like 28th position, and now he's battling for a top 10 spot. Yeah,
that was a really interesting a move right there. I really thought that the 84 was going to be able to get the run on the bottom, but it just didn't work out.
Look at this move.
22.
Look at this move. The 18 has actually gotten around the 3 for 2nd position. So now it's King leading the charge against Justin Hutchinson for position. So now King is going to try and make a charge on the 28. He's 3.8 seconds behind, but with less than 15 laps to go, I really doubt that car will be able to make a move as Fitzwater now tries to make a move on the 3. This is for 3rd position.
Yeah, that 3 car really just doesn't have the long run speed right now that it needs to be able to get up there and compete for the win. Um, but that 18 car, we haven't seen really what he can do all race, so we'll watch the intervals as they go by the line. A little bit of time gained.
A little bit of time gained. He's now 3.6 behind Justin Hutchinson. So, with that in mind, King may actually have enough, but he needs to gain a lot more than that every lap in order to get by. He also has to get by Alvarez, keep in mind, in this battle for position here. And also, Kevin Carter's right on his bumper trying to unlap himself. So a lot of factors playing into this battle between King and Hutchinson for the win as we close in on 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it's really not looking so good. He only gained 0.03 on that lap, minimal, not nearly enough to be able to gain more than 3.5 seconds over the next 10 laps. It just doesn't look very good for those guys. But the 28 car, I'll tell you what, leading almost all the laps in this race, only ever had competition from the 26 car and the 72 for a little bit there, but 72 is out of the picture. And and the caution's out.
Yes, we've had a crash, a big crash. Lane Sanders is out of the race. Blair in the 69. Casey Bender's out of this race. He was having such a good run in the top 10, but now his race is over. Ryan Caggiano has damage. Jeffrey Finguy's got damage in his battle to make the playoffs. This could have some serious implications for the playoff battle. Arthur Xavier's got damage. Nick Ortiz is out of this race. He was 11th points going in. This was a serious crash that, once again, has involved many of the frontrunners for the playoffs, and Nick Ortiz right there is out of this race.
Ouch.
And that has got some very serious implications for the playoffs. Even Zanstra's got damage. Caggiano has damage. Jeffrey Finguy's got a piece. Casey Bender's out of this race. Man, this race has changed in a heartbeat as we take 10 laps to go under the caution flag. As you see, actually, we've got cars on pit road. We've got the 28. The leader has hit pit road along with the 3. This is going to be very interesting for pit strategy. These cars did not think they were able to make it on those sets of tires, so they have pit again, and that's handed the lead off to King in the 18. This is going to be a very big battle for the lead when we come out of on the restart between King and Fitzwater now, because the 28 has taken himself completely out of this race. So looking back at what caused this crash, you can see Blair in the 69 running with the 75 and the 50. Is Lutchen going to maybe make a move? Yes, she is. And, they just lock bumpers. And there's just nowhere for Blair to go, and she just gets turned around right into the path of Daniel Bouchard. Soper makes some huge contact as well. And Christian Vargas gets a piece. Casey Bender gets a piece. Caggiano gets involved. Ethan Zanstra. A lot of cars get by on the outside. But a lot more have been involved in this accident that have ended the hopes of so many here at Darlington. So you see it here in slow motion. You can see Lutchen and Blair just hook bumpers, and from there it's just game on because neither car can advance forward when they're locked together like this, and they both head towards the bottom of the track, and that from there Lutchen just sends Blair up the track and right into the path of Daniel Bouchard.
Yeah, and it was just a situation where the move was a little bit late. And there was nobody was able to react quite in time. The 73 almost went over. That's incredible. Here's some hard hits. Oh my gosh, the 22. These guys kind of get through. Look at that. I mean, those guys had a good run. The 13 was up against the wall, but then the 15 has hard contact with a couple of guys right there. Everybody's kind of riding the wall to get around. It's what you got to do to get around the wreck sometimes, though. 30 was going back up the track.
It's a very tough break for everyone involved, especially guys like Jeffrey Finguy and Nick Ortiz, who are fighting so hard to make the playoffs here. And now as the lights go out on the pace car, we have 1 lap to go until the restart. Ben McDonald is out front, but he is not your leader of this race. That would be King in the 18. McDonald has just barely hung on to the tail end of the lead lap. So McDonald is out front, but on the tail end of the lead lap. King is leading this race. Then, after Kevin Carter, the lap car, Zachary Fitzwater in second place. We'll scroll back to catch Fitzwater. There he is. Miles Mashburn in third. Brayton Saul is a lap down. Alexa Lutchen in fourth. Bobo Jones in fifth, who did a good job of dodging that wreck. Jordan Presto in 6th, Jake McMillan 7th, Chris Maley up from 41st is up to 8th in this race, Brandon Beal 9th, and Henry Thomas rounds out your top 10 as we head to the restart with about 6 laps to go.
Yeah, this is really going to be the challenge of the fresh tires now, because there's only a couple laps left in this race, but those guys with fresh tires are going to be going, as we saw, they're going to be going about 2.5, 3 seconds faster than all these guys. And also, this has brought the 26 car back into contention, at least for a top 10 or something. So this is it. This is the green flag right here. And they're going, and the 12 car is on the lead lap just ahead of these guys, so he's going to try to drive away, hope for another caution here. The 18 is leading the group, though. We're just going to have to see what those fresh tires can do, and if there's anything in the amount of time they have left.
And with King out in front, Fitzwater's being held up behind the lap car of Kevin Carter. This is going to really hinder the 59's chances of winning this race, as Miles Mashburn, of course, lines up right behind him. It's got an interesting battle for the lead here. And here comes Mashburn on Fitzwater. That's for second position.
Oh, man.
And Fitzwater washes up high. And now Lutchen's going to make a move. The car who caused that accident is now making a move for a podium position here at Darlington.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very fair at all, but that's it. It is what it is sometimes. 59's going to drop way back. He's on the outside. Oh, actually, he might have gotten in the line right there, but we can't see it anymore. The 72 was fast earlier in this race, and we'll see, because the 18 has not been able to get away from Carter right there. This is going to be interesting with only 4 laps to go.
And with 5 laps to go in this race, Miles Mashburn has chased down King in the 18. It's down to 0.3 of a second. The battle for the lead right now, as Carter is the buffer between them, as the caution flag has come back out. Oh, and there's a huge crash.
My gosh.
Christian Vargas is out of the race, and Jeffrey Fittenguy once again has taken severe damage and is out of this race. Cal Farrell's got damage. Ryan Caggiano for the second time has got damage, and I'm not so sure that this race will be able to restart. I think that King might have just won this race under yellow.
Well, in any case, the 12 got his lap back. That was the caution he was hoping for, but I don't think he'll be able to do anything with it. You know, I think you're right. This might be the end of the road for.
Looking at Fittenguy now, battling Caggiano for position. Doesn't look like there anything. Oh, there it is. Oh my
gosh!
Caggiano's upside down. Cal Farrell got upside down. And it looks like 4 cars were involved in this one. Jeffrey Fittenguy, Christian Vargas, Cal Farrell, and Ryan Caggiano, all of whom are out of this race. 2 cars went upside down. You can see Cal Farrell battling Jeff Bolton. It looks like the same thing happened with Lutchen and Blair to happen here. And now Ricky Freeman Jr. gets a piece. And he gets T-boned by Ryan Caggiano. Goes almost up into the fence there. Horrible wreck for all 4 cars. All 4 cars out of the race. Shame, too. Ryan Caggiano had such a beautiful-looking car, and it's now out of this race, all in a crumpled heap. Same with Jeffrey Fittenguy and Christian Vargas, all of whom are now out of this race. And like I said before, I do not believe this race will be able to be restarted, unless they take the 1-to-go signal this time by. We have a 1-lap shootout. That could be a possibility.
We'll see.
But if that doesn't happen, this race will end under caution, and King in the 18 will get his first career win.
Yeah, I can't even believe that. What a hard hit for all those guys. You know, the 96. Hopefully he's doing all right in that car. Get a report from the care center at some point here. But yeah, it's looking really good for the 18, because even if they do get restarted, you still got the 71 between him and the 72. So, you know, that's just a buffer spot right there, and it's going to be really, really tough for the 72 to make 2 passes in 1 lap.
Coming
if
to
they
the
do
line
go
here,
green,
we'll see if the lights go out on the pace car. They will not. This race will end under caution, and King in the 18 has just, as long as he can make it around 2 more laps, he will have won for the first time in his 1-Up Retro Cup Series career here at Darlington in that Mark Martin Viagra paint scheme, in a race that has been full of attrition in just the final 10 laps alone. But what a good run from the 18. He took advantage of the strategy when it mattered, and he stayed out in front when it mattered. It's a good race from the 18. But, man, it's tough to see all these beautiful cars fall out of the race so late.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where, you know, if it had gone green all the way, and if we had saw the 28 and the 3 get back up there and pass the 18 for the win, we'd say, wow, they were geniuses. You know, they made that call and it worked out. But But now we're looking at them, we're like, well, why the heck did they pit? It just depends on the cautions, and I'm sure that they were anticipating a green flag run to the finish after that yellow, because we had green flag runs in the whole race. So this, it's great news for the 18 car. Finally to get his first win, that's really great, and he made the right call in the time that it mattered the most, and you just have to guess, and the guess was correct for King.
White flag being displayed. This is the final lap. It will be run under yellow flag conditions here at Darlington Raceway. So, your unofficial running order for the finish will be King, Mashburn, Lutchen, Fitzwater, and Jones your top 5, with Presto, McMillan, Beal, Thomas, and Cody Goforth rounding out your top 10. As long as nothing happens here at the end of this race. Looking back at the rest of the field, you can see Justin Hutchinson. He had such a dominant car. He led almost the entire race. He will be saddled with an 18th place finish in this race.
Yeah, that's just really, really tough. Made the wrong call during that pit stop sequence and under caution there, and it is what it is sometimes, and you kind of have to bite the bullet in that situation because it's not going to work out.
Chris, with the 3 making his way all the way up to 15th, but not the finish he wanted either. No. But with this top 10 being completely different from what we saw at the beginning of this race, coming through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, it'll be King in the 18 after a heartbreak at Bristol that denied him his first win there. He'll come off of turn 4 behind the pace car, and King in the 18 will be able to celebrate winning one of the crown jewels of NASCAR Run-Up Retro Cup Series racing. He will come off of turn 4, and as the checkered flag is displayed for him, he will come across the line and win the Southern 500 here at Darlington.
Yeah, and he just played the right strategy when it mattered the most, and he made it happen. And what's going on here?
44 appears to have dropped the engine on his car just as they crossed the checkered flag. He will come to a stop on the start-finish line. He will be credited with a 14th place finish, which should, in all essence, lock him into the One-Up Retro Cup Series playoffs. So congratulations to him for that accomplishment, but he will not see the end. He will not make it back under his own power. But good job for King in the 18. He's locked himself into the playoffs now as well with a win, and he can look forward to no pressure at Phoenix, and all he has to do there is chase after another win.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job, great race by all these guys. When you look at the 72, he had a great race as well. That car was really fast all day, and a second place finish, of course, is respectable. And then you got a lot of these folks. I mean, Alexa Lutchen was involved in that first crash that we had, so that's a really, really good finish right there. And then you go back through the field, a lot of these guys really just never showed up today, and they got lucky with the cautions, and they made it happen in the end when it counted. So
guys like McMillan weren't in the top 10 all day, and they've now finished in the top 10. Brandon Beal, Henry Thomas, Cody Goforth, Keon Daly finished 11th after starting 40th in this race. So a good effort from the 79 car. Man, I just gotta say, this race at Darlington was you never know. It's the epitome of never knowing what to expect until the checkered flag flies. Yeah. Here at Darlington. We can't wait to come back for another wonderful throwback weekend in 2021. It'll be interesting for sure as we look forward to the regular season finale out in Phoenix to set the 12-car field for the One-Up Retro Cup Series playoffs.
Yep, that's really exciting, and it's going to be a fantastic playoff field, and it's going to be really, really great to watch those guys battle it out over 12 weeks. We've had such a great regular season already. We got one more race in it, and then we'll finish it off and go into the playoffs, and that's so exciting. I cannot wait.
And with that, the Southern 500 is complete. From Duke Ansack and myself, congratulations to King in the 18. His first career win comes in the crown jewel of the Southern 500.